Catholicism's the best.
Number one, though?
Obviously. Who else is in contention here?
Muslims? Jews?
Solid claim.
You think Catholic's number one?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, why?
We did it, dude. Look at the Vatican. We did it.
Yeah.
Invented the Western world.
it.
Invented the Western
That's
world.
number one. Number one.
Catholicism, number one.
I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber.
Latin Mass by day, TradTards Podcast by night, all day.
Are you homosexual, Your Eminence? Those Novus Ordo priests, they do communion in the hand. You can't do that. It's disgusting.
So long as we bear innocently that divine image in the face of the evil of the world, we shall never perish. Why, we have already won!
Well, welcome to the Puffs with Peter podcast. I always like to start it
off
because a bunch of Peter Puffers out here. But ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have an incredibly demanded guest on the show, Mr. Cameron Phlodge, who, if you're not aware, is actually, I should probably let him introduce himself. If you'd like to do that, sir.
No, you go on.
Okay, gotcha. Mr. Cameron Phlodge, he's a well-known IncelCore artist, I'd say. Epunk genre, some might also call it. And I guess starting off, it's quite a interesting clash of worlds that to have you on the show. It was unexpected to say the least. Cameron, you commented on one of my videos, very kind of like offhand, like, can I come on the show? And I did not know what can of worms this would open for me. I replied to your comment, like just offhand. I was like, oh yeah, sure, maybe in the future. And then I wake up the next day, I see this 100 view like spike on that video. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And there's like 30 comments. So, I mean, I know you told me a little bit of, I'm just curious because TradTards is so small. How did you find TradTards?
Dude, my YouTube recommendations are so fucked up. I always get like random podcasts with like 20 views in there. And I love making fun of like I love making fun of like online trad, like siege mask LARPers. I was like, holy shit, this is a gold mine right here. So I watched it and I was like talking to a couple people in the IncelCore scene. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if I went on here? I was like, can I come? I just left the comment.
Well, your wish has been granted. The monkey's paw.
Yeah, well.
The finger curls in the monkey's paw. But I genuinely believe your fan base like actually wanted you on. Have you done an interview before?
I did one like way back when I was 16 and it was fucking terrible. Like I haven't done one since.
Gotcha. So I guess that's where the demand is. Yeah.
Maybe.
But man, I gotta say, so I actually went on because my first thought was, okay, where the fuck? Obviously, there's some community here that's found me, and I don't know what it is. So I started Googling, and sure enough, someone had posted a link to the episode on Reddit saying Cameron Phlodge confirmed guest on the TradTards podcast. It is the epunk subreddit. Are you active on that subreddit? Yeah.
I like going on there to troll and like the I'm gonna explain a little bit. There's been this uptick in like since like 2023. The whole IncelCore thing was kind of dead in like 2021, 2022, and 2023. A lot of what they say on TikTok, new gens join the fold, and a lot of the new gens, they're like 15. They're like fucking damn near Gen Alpha. They don't understand what the they don't understand what the old scene was like. So they have like a meltdown if you make fun of their favorite artist or like post a DM that their favorite artist sent, talking about how they want to lick another artist or something. And they back in 2020, that was just what it was. Everybody took the piss out of each other. And these new gens, they're just fucking too soft. They're fucking iPad babies. They have like a meltdown if you say you don't like fucking Cocomelon. But that's what r/epunk is pretty much full of, is like new gens. It's nobody that, you know, was there back in the day, and they're pretty easy to make upset.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, going through that subreddit, I felt like an old man because, you know, I'm used to like post-ironic humor, but
Yeah.
that subreddit was like a whole nother level. I was like, because I was just trying to find out, like, okay, like obviously, you know, this Cameron Phlodge guy, he's in this scene. I know negative XP, right? I don't think there's like
Yeah.
anyone that spends a lot of time on the internet who doesn't. He's probably the most
You
like,
know Hallowed, right?
yes, I
feel
do know
like
Hallowed. They are.
yeah.
I mean, frankly, it's kind of incredible that they are. That's kind of that is where my scene and your scene really meets. I'd say is
Oh yeah.
yeah, because they have. I mean, a lot of their songs do deal with the fact they're tradcasts. They actually went
Yeah.
to a. They went to a
Yeah, I
Catholic.
heard. Yeah, the Catholic Palooza or whatever it was called. I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like the headline there. So it's actually interesting. There, I don't think there is as much of a gulf between our two communities as initially.
I mean, it's
might have
all
thought.
online, right wing, Sam Hyde, MDE, trad, LARPer bullshit, you know. So
Yeah, we're all on the same team, just different aesthetics. And you know, actually, I went to the Sam Hyde show in DC. You know, he's doing this tour right now.
yeah.
Yeah, that was the most fun I think I've ever
Was it?
had, like at an event.
Oh man, you're killing
Best
me.
$65 fucking dollars I've ever spent in my life.
$65.
Yeah, and I took my girlfriend too, and she actually loved
What'd
it.
he
She thought it was
do? Did
fucking
he?
hilarious. Oh
What'd he do?
man,
Is
I
it like
mean,
stand up?
yeah. So, well, first, it wasn't just him. It's this another guy that's part of the team, and then they had the entire original
Charles
NDE
or whatever.
cast. Yep, Charles, Nick, and then Sam.
Nick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think Nick is the most like if he really wanted to do stand up like in a normal scene, he could actually get away with it.
Mhm.
I think he has the most widespread appeal.
I mean,
but, like,
oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, but
no, keep going. Sorry.
I've followed MDE for a long time. I mean, I watched World Peace when it was on Adult Swim, in, like middle school or late elementary school. So I've kept
dude,
up with that group for a while. The fan
Seeing
base
them-
is fucking annoying though. Like holy shit, it's as bad as the IncelCore fan base.
Yeah, it's terminally online people are bad fans.
Yeah.
They
Do you
go a
like
little crazy,
the Cumtown crew? I kind of consider them like NDE for leftist, you know.
yeah, like that dirtbag leftist thing. They
Yeah,
definitely gave me some inspiration for TradTards, right?
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to be that, but for the tratosphere, as it were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you have the female version of that, which is Red Scare Pod.
Oh, that shit fucking sucks. Those bitches are ugly as hell.
Those bitches are crazy.
They're fucking ugly.
Yeah. Dude,
Fucking
I mean, they
Dasha
got,
looks like she came from fucking I don't even know, like that fucking Russian, what was it fucking called?
Chernobyl.
Yeah, Chernobyl. She looks like a fucking Chernobyl victim.
Oh man, I can't wait when this breaks on the epunk sub, and then the RSP subreddit is gonna spill over. Is gonna be infighting.
I don't think I have that much influence, man.
Yeah. Before we get into talking about your upcoming release, which
I forgot.
to and you sent me, I really do appreciate you doing that. I mean, that was it's really cool. And to anyone that's a fan of Cameron already, I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised with some of the things that you're doing on there. And I think you're trying out some new things as well.
I call it IncelCore because I'm old school. I don't say epunk. Yeah.
When is that the new gens that are doing that?
Kind of. Yeah, it's kind of a new gen thing. It was actually, coined by Shooter, and I don't like the term, but I kind of understand the situation where he did it, because pretty much he got caught up in this live show scene where of other IncelCore artists, and they were all just acting like fat,
Gotcha.
acting really weird, fucking doing drugs and accusing each other of rape. So, and it kind of just made him pissed off with the whole scene. And a lot of people today, they shit on Shooter, but I mean, none of these people would be here without him. So I think they should just like shut the fuck up. I mean, everybody's just ripping him off.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, I know him and Negative XP are the really well known.
Yeah.
And I'm dipping my toes in there more and more, especially after
Yeah.
interacting with yourself. So I'm trying to get learned up. Maybe I'm not the best interviewer here, but I
You
will
should
try my
listen
best.
to. I'll give you some Rex. Hard Christ. You heard Hard Christ?
No, okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, I'll put that down.
Hard Christ is good. Fed Z is good. Q Nasty. Trying to think of who else I like from the. I mean, Pop Kill. Obviously, I collaborate with him a lot.
Mhm.
I actually don't like very many IncelCore artists, to be honest. But
Well, I mean, that's like I can feel you probably when you're in the scene like that. I mean, it only makes sense that you'd be very opinionated.
Yeah. There's a lot of scene politics.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now,
Yeah.
I had a question. I remembered the question. It came back to me. My question
All right.
was, Dalepilled, right?
Oh. Okay.
So what the fuck is up? So I was like trying to find, was that your song originally? Like, what was going on? Because every time I looked it up on YouTube or SoundCloud, it was always like cover of Cameron Phlodge's Dalepilled, and
Yeah.
it got to the point there was like 1 million fucking people, and it said cover of, like 1 million people doing covers of the song, and I'm like, this has to be a meme that I just don't get. Can you explain that to me?
It was just this. Have you heard the original? I mean, it's recorded like shit.
I was trying to find it. I was like, I couldn't tell
Yeah.
which one it was. There's like 1 million fucking versions.
Yeah, Dalepilled was my song I wrote, and I uploaded it, I think, in July of 2020. Like, it was back when I was like 16, and
Yeah.
it kind of just became like a. I don't know what happened. It just became like a thing to cover out of nowhere. I didn't force it or make it happen. It just overnight everybody did a Dalepilled cover, and then I remember I remember when Negative XP did the cover of it. I mean, I remember being pretty hyped for that because that was like, one of my favorite artists at the time. I mean, being 16 and one of your favorite artists covering a song you wrote is pretty, cool.
I mean, that's impressive, dude. I mean, it kind of, you write one song and then it kind of takes off on its own and has its own life.
Yeah. People are asking me to put it on Spotify, but I don't know.
That's where I've been listening to most of your stuff. And I know 100% that it's you on there, which has been good. And, as I told you, when I talked to you, I think a couple weeks ago, big fan of Winchester. I've always been a big, I like high energy sound. So that one definitely tickles my fancy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a gun guy too, big gun guy. So anything with guns in it, big gun
pretty
nut.
cool, right?
Yeah, good shit. I guess that ties back into, being a Southern, right? Having Dale still being this cultural icon.
Yeah, I mean, the guy died before I was born.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's right. Shit. Now I feel old. Fuck. I remember when Dale died.
You remember? Wow, you remember? That's interesting.
Yeah,
What was that? What was that
like? It was like the Pope had fucking died.
It was the worst thing to happen in 2001, right, man?
Dude, it was crazy. Well, yeah, it was the worst thing to happen. Now. By God, a second car has ran into the
second
sidewall.
NASCAR driver has crashed into a wall.
Yeah. But no, I remember seeing all the Walmarts had the fucking cardboard cut out the Dale, and there was like all this commemorative bullshit they were selling.
Yeah.
And everyone was
they were those NASCAR execs, they were rubbing their hands when he hit that fucking wall.
Yeah. And as a kid, I was always, people talked in very hushed tones about how Dale, met his demise. And so I never saw the video. And I was always like, he must have flipped 100 million fucking times and taken out 30 other cars or some shit. And then I watched the video as an adult, and I'm like, oh, this dude just hit the sidewall going 95.
I mean, yeah, fucking I mean, there's nothing glamorous about any death, So
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Dale. Rest in peace,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Rest in peace. Um, um, actually, in the summer of 2020, there was an effort to get Dale Earnhardt Jr. to hear that song, and I honestly don't think he'd appreciate me comparing his father's death to like losing a girl. So,
Well, there's a lot of. Are you a fan of NASCAR currently? Like, do you watch?
I haven't watched since like 2021. I just don't care much for the modern races.
Yeah. So I live not too far away from
From
the
Bristol.
track. Not Bristol. No, I'm Virginian.
Bristol.
So I mean, I guess everyone Richmond is like center of the state, right? So
Yeah,
most
yeah,
people are pretty close to Virginia Motor Speedway, or that's what they
yeah,
call it. Yeah.
yeah.
So I usually go to the Cookout 400 if I can swing it, and
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's not a huge track. They've actually reduced the seating there, which is I guess a state of the fan base of NASCAR
yeah.
that's
It's
shrinking.
definitely slowing down. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the only fucking sport that you can bring in your own alcohol and your own nicotine, and you can just get fucking hammered. It's great.
Yeah. I was talking to this older guy recently, and he was telling me about how back in the day at NASCAR races, they used to have tobacco companies handing out like samples, like little 5 packs of cigarettes and little like things of dip and stuff.
Yeah, cigarette girls, man. And
Yeah,
I think Richmond, Philip Morris was the big one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Damn. We fucking used to be a proper country, man. What the fuck happened?
yeah. Yeah, the
Gosh.
3 main tobacco companies are RJ Reynolds, Philip Morris, and I think ITG. I think those are like the big ITJ, whatever it's called, International Japan Tobacco, whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big conglomerate.
yeah.
Yeah, man. But I mean, I guess speaking of nicotine, I am a fan of nicotine. I'm more of a
Oh yeah,
cigar guy.
oh
I
yeah,
understand you're a cigarette man.
yeah.
What to the fans out there who might want to know, what are your favorite labels?
I smoke about a pack a day, and I like Camel. I like Marlboro. I'm not very picky. I like about across the board. I try something new every time. I don't really have a brand.
Yeah. You ever try anything foreign?
No, we got the best tobacco here. Why would I try something foreign?
Well, you never. I don't know if you're like you said you try a little bit of everything, so maybe you're more of a. I didn't know if you're more of a connoisseur or just
No, no. I'm
I
actually
got you.
underage, like because the smoking age is 21 now. I really.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember that was a big deal when that happened. That's some
Yeah,
bullshit, man.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of high schoolers when I was in high school that some seniors that were really fucking pissed that that
yeah.
was going down. They're
But
just buying them bulk.
I have my ways.
You got your plug.
Yeah.
That's good shit. Well, how about beer then? Your favorite beers?
Beer. I
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I'm a drunk. I'm an alcoholic, pretty much. I like Miller High Life. I like
Hell yeah.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Mm.
I don't like Budweiser, Bud Light. It's not because of the tranny shit. I just think it tastes fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I like Bud Ice actually. I'll drink Bud Ice sometimes.
Oh shit.
Um,
Okay.
uh, I don't like the Mexican beers like Corona, Modelo. I don't really like those. But yeah, Pabst and Miller High Life. And sometimes like Coors. Coors is all right.
You have some good taste, man. We gotta share a
Yeah.
beer sometime. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I'll be your plug. I'll be your plug.
Yeah.
Not a legal statement I just made there, in case anyone's listening.
I like
I'm really
do you like liquor too, like hard liquor?
I mean, yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, it gets me fucked up right quick though, so I do like beer because I can just drink longer.
Well, I'm a big boy. I need a lot, to get fucked up. So,
Yeah. Is that
but
I mean, so
what?
when I was perusing the epunk subreddit, they seem to take a lot of pride in poking fun at you for that. I mean, what say you to I guess that part of the scene?
I mean, I don't know. It's just the banter. I mean, that's just what it was back in the day. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, everybody made fun of everybody back in the day. My problem with it is when an artist makes fun of another artist, and oh, that's my favorite artist. Don't make fun of him, please, please, stop. That's the shit that gets on my nerves. You know, poking jokes at people is whatever, because that's the scene I came up up in. Sorry. So I don't really care. I think it's funny. I think some of the edits are funny. You know.
Yeah, there's nothing more annoying than like, people like are, taking the piss and then they can't fucking handle it. You like throw a little bit
Oh
back.
yeah. No, if you make fun of their favorite artist, it's a fucking meltdown.
Well, it's it's their golden calf, man.
Yeah.
They have the
They're
characteristics
usually like
relationship.
kids. You know, they don't have friends. They've never had a girlfriend. All they've got in life is this guy that makes shitty music on his laptop, and they fucking worship it. You know.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that you think is just now with any indie like music now and in our time, I guess mid 2020s now? Like, is this like a common thing? I guess like having that very close interaction with the artists, is that like something unique to the IncelCore scene?
I mean, there's always been people that worship musicians, and I mean, look at Elvis and the Beatles and Michael Jackson and stuff like that. But I definitely would say it's gotten worse with how separated everything is now, and you can interact. And I hate it when somebody DMs me on fucking Instagram telling me how much they love my music, and oh my god, dude, just shut up. Like I don't want to talk to you. I'm sorry, I just don't want to talk to you. And,
Yeah. I guess this episode almost didn't happen with that.
Yeah.
Because I reached out to you on fuck.
No, it's I mean, I'll be honest. I'm just an asshole. I have some type of psychological problem where I just need to be an asshole about everybody I meet. So, when you come at me with your dick in your hand, fucking, oh, I love your music so much, it's so great. I'm like, geez.
Well, the thing about assholes, right, is they don't lie. Usually.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. I think I'd rather have someone be a dick to me up front than put on a facade.
Yeah, like when we made the deal for the theme song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So to anyone listening, to TradTards fans and Phlodge fans alike, Cameron has very graciously agreed to produce a theme song for TradTards, and I'm paying him an undisclosed sum.
Yeah.
And it's gonna pay for a lot of beer, a lot of cigarettes, I hope.
I'm not selling out. I'm buying in.
Exactly. Hey man, honest work, honest pay. That's how I think.
Yeah. No, I've been working on. I recorded some rhythm guitar tracks earlier, so I don't want you to think I'm slogging off on you.
No, it's all good, brother. These things take time. Artists have their ways. I'm not one to question it. I'm not a huge audiophile, but I'm curious if you wanted to disclose. I mean, what type of equipment do you use recording wise?
Okay. Do you want to talk about guitars or whatever? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, I have an Ibanez SZ320, I believe it's called, and it's a black one. If you want to, when you edit, if you want to flash a picture of it up there or whatever. I use a Scarlett Solo red interface, the most basic interface ever, and I used an amp simulator from the band Gojira, and that's about it. Nothing fancy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a great age for producing your own music.
Oh, definitely. You don't need to go through a label or have someone approve your songs or whatever. But I think that also brings up a lot of other problems, though. But everything has its pros and cons.
Do you think the market gets saturated with just shit?
Definitely.
I listened to it. It was it definitely spiced up my commute. I work a very boring normie office job, so made me feel a little rebellious. Is it okay if I say some track names?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So you're hearing it here first on TradTards, folks. Starting off with Orientation, Buzzcut, and I like that one a lot. Then Snipes, Organ Donor Blues, which actually has a blues rhythm.
I was listening to a lot of Rolling Stones. I decided to make like a shitty Rolling Stones kind of song.
Definitely was something different. I liked it.
That and Buzzcut and Wide Receiver. Those are songs I wrote because people were bitching about me writing songs about girls too much. So there you go. There's some songs that aren't about girls.
Damn. The IncelCore community doesn't like when people talk about women.
And I know. It's funny that it's called the IncelCore. That's the name of the genre because pretty much every artist sings about a girl they dated or something.
I will say I really like the samples before the songs begin.
I think it adds more context to the song somewhere. What kind of music do you like?
Oh man, dude. I sound like such a fucking normie.
What do you mean? Like, Paul Anka,
Oh yeah, like I love that shit. It's a mood thing, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah. That's like that's the kind of music. Here's my thing. I think if anybody wants to write songs, that's the type of stuff they should listen to, and stuff like early Beatles and early Beach Boys, and like Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, Paul Anka. I'm drawing a blank right now. Once you're in the hot seat, you forget so many things. Jan and Gene, yeah, and stuff like old Motown too. Like the Temptations, and I love Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and it's kind of a thing. I have a beef with the IncelCore community. It seems like they don't really care about music; they just care about epic based. I'm based on Twitter, Red Pill. They don't know that kind of stuff, and I think you should listen to stuff even before that. I mean, you should go back to Robert Johnson and the the Carter family. I just think you have to pay respect to what came before you. A lot of people, they just, the day they become conscious, the music they hear on the radio or on Spotify playlists, that's just it. It just exists, and they don't really care much for the history. They don't care much for Tin Pan Alley or anything like that. The important things, the foundations of modern pop music.
No, I completely agree.
I think it's a shame how in the modern age it's kind of been turned into like black people invented everything, when it really was if you know the history of pop music, it really was a collaborative effort between black people and white people. I mean, blues was just as important to the formation of rock as like honky tonk and bluegrass. I mean, if you look at when white rock artists first started coming out, like Elvis and Jerry Lee Lewis, and even before that, they would be on the because back then you had the race charts and you had the country charts, which was for like the poor white people, and then there was kind of like the crooner chart. It was like Bing Crosby and stuff like that. That was for like upclass white people. If you look at those old charts, you'll see Elvis Presley on there, and you'll see Jerry Lee Lewis, and right there with Hank Snow, and Fair and Young. So I think it's vastly underrated how important white music was to the creation of modern pop music, and definitely rock and roll. And but I'm also not like one of those right wing guys that's like, fuck black people, man, they didn't invent anything, because rhythm and blues and Delta blues, and even if you want to go way back, slave songs or whatever, that was very important to modern pop music too. So I think it's more a collaborative effort. I think it's been very, at least how it's been told to my generation, it's been very miscued. No, it's very foolish. The hardcore right wingers are just as retarded as the hardcore left wingers, where they just want to be like, oh no, this song was the first. No, this was the first, and this race had nothing to do with it. It was a very collaborative effort, and I don't think either should take too much credit for it. I think it should be, split pretty evenly. I mean, you definitely wouldn't have modern pop music without the Carter family for sure, but you also wouldn't have it without, Robert Johnson, like I said earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
It's everybody talks about Mississippi Delta blues and Big Bill Brunsey, stuff like that, and that stuff was important. But what they seem to miss is that was blacks. That was them putting slave hymns with European folk music. That's the thing that seems to have been lost in translation. Because if you listen to early country and you listen to early blues, it's very similar. I mean, listen to Hank Williams, it pretty much just sounds like early blues. So it was, there's not very much difference between the two. Both early on used the 12-bar blues chord progression a lot, GCD, EAB, stuff like that. It's they're very intertwined actually, and they just kind of went in different directions. But I think at the root, it's probably the same seed that germinated, or whatever. I'm not a scientist,
Well, I mean, you might be an aspiring anthropologist. You got quite the knowledge on the roots of.
I take it very seriously because I think if you're going to be into something, you should be full bore. You shouldn't just lollygag with it and just treat it like some plaything.
Hell yeah.
Going back to your EP itself, are you in fact an organ donor?
No, no, I don't do any of that mess. I just that was just a term I came up with in my head one day. It was just organ donor blues, and I thought it was funny. And I remember that Alex Jones clip I sampled. I was like, oh yeah, I should write like just a whole song about it. So, there's a lot of very weird things in the medical industry. I mean, it's one of the biggest money makers in this country. So
What do you think of this whole country kick that's going on right now?
Are you talking about the gentrification of lower class white culture? Yes, I have seen that. Yes. No, I'm very much staunchly against it. You see all these, rappers and pop stars, and for the past 10 years, 20 years, it wasn't cool to like country music. It wasn't, you'd get shit on. And now everybody just wants to, let's have a big old friendo party down in Nashville, and Machine Gun Kelly, strap on an acoustic guitar. Your shitty pop punk career is failing. You can put on a cowboy hat, No, I don't. I'm very staunchly against it. And, that fucking Beyonce album was a fucking train wreck. It was terrible. That Shabuzi song is fucking terrible. The, fucking Jelly Roll. I hate Jelly Roll. Fucking piece of shit. You make terrible music. I will say though, I do think Post Malone has made some very good, catchy songs in the transition to country music, and he does seem the most genuine about it. But everybody else, they just, I don't know. I mean, it's just shit. It's just trend hopping. He got that fucking yodeling kid from like 2016, whatever. He's trying to come back now, and he makes like shitty Lana Del Rey estrogen music, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I mean, all this stuff that's important to me in this history of my people, and you can say whatever you want about that, but I do take pride in being white and being lower class and looked down upon, and people thinking I'm not educated or intelligent or can't talk properly. It's this thing I've fought with my whole life, and now everybody just wants to act like, oh yeah, it's cool, man, let's just have a big old friendo party and throw in some cowboy hats and rhinestones. No, you can't just do that after you weren't born into it. You don't get it, man. You don't get it handed down to you. The guy that lives in a shitty rundown trailer with just his mom, and they've got 2 cans of Chef Boyardee in there. How is that, privilege? How is that, constant struggle? And it's a very overlooked group of people in this country in this day of age. And I don't think you should be able to just jump in their culture. I don't think you should just be able to, oh, hello, I just heard a fucking I heard a Johnny Cash song once. I think I can do some country, I mean, get on with yourself.
What was your take on Rich Men North of Richmond by Oliver Anthony? I kind of felt like it was astroturfed when I first heard it.
I kind of I don't know if you know. I'm very much. I hate saying it because when you say it, people think you're someone like Anthony Fantano or something like that. But I'm very much a music nerd, and I keep up with the charts and stuff like that. And that summer, what was it? 2022 or 2023? 2023. There was a lot of big country hits on the Billboard Hot 100. The Billboard Hot 100 is it's just overall every genre, whatever's fucking popping. And that summer Luke Combs had put out a cover of the song Fast Car by Tracy Chapman, and I'm sure you heard that. That just exploded everywhere. That was number one. And then Jason Aldean had that Try That in a Small Town song, which was fucking terrible. A shitty song. I mean, if any country song deserved to be number one on the Billboard Hot 100, it wasn't fucking that one. And I think it just made it look worse. But and I hate that because that's just that's dumb people who they hear a song. Well, I agree with the message, so it must be good. There's a lot of that in IncelCore, so. It must be a good song. Try that in a small town, man. And you get all these fucking Daily Wire conservatives fucking, let's get this to number one. And the song's fucking terrible. And Jason Aldean has good songs, but that song's just fucking terrible. So in the summer, all that was going on. I think like Morgan Wallen had a huge hit with that Last Night song, and I'm not a very big fan of that song either. I think he has some okay songs, but that song I didn't really understand why it was such a hit. The country mainstream craze has been kind of building up for a while since that Old Town Road song came out, and just the past few years it's been slowly on an incline. And I think that summer, all those songs, that was kind of the breaking point. Then after all that, this Oliver Anthony shit comes along, and when the song first came out, I was like, oh, yeah, this is okay. He's trying to do an old, country kind of thing, mountain music. I don't know where he's from. I think he's from like Kentucky or something, right? So
Yeah.
he's trying to do, old Appalachian mountain music, and I like that kind of thing. It's definitely, an important route, like I was talking about earlier. And then you kind of just get all these people just like, this is the fucking greatest song ever. This speaks the truth. Liberal tears are flowing. Like, oh my god, dude, shut up. I mean, it was the same thing with the Jason Aldean thing. It wasn't that great of a song. I don't think it deserved to be number one on the Hot 100. It was very interesting because it was the first time an independent artist was number one on the Hot 100. So I mean, that was it was a cool to see kind of a historic moment in music history like that, because when you're my age you miss most of them. I just feel like a well-written song should get that instead of a song that people that drink Black Rifle coffee here and they're like, man, I agree with this, man, this is like what we need. We need this and $2 billion to Israel, like right now. Like, it's like, okay, whatever. You don't care about music, you don't care about songwriting. So.
Yeah, I remember when it first came out, and for quite some time I hadn't listened to the song, and then all my normie conservative friends were like, "You gotta listen to this Oliver Anthony song. It's so good."
They talk shit about like liberals and whatever, and like, oh yeah, liberals, like, they're stupid. They buy stuff and they buy Funko Pops, whatever. Like, okay, but you're the guy wearing a Vote Hawk Tua for president shirt. Like, how are you not as bad of a consumer as like a guy that buys like a Biden Harris fucking Funko Pop or whatever?
Well, yeah, it's like the sports teamification of politics, to put it one way.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that, and I think that's a huge problem right now. It's fucking stupid. Everybody wants to get into politics for like aesthetic reasons, and they're not into it for nobody cares about their actual beliefs and morals. They just want, I'm gonna own this person on Twitter or something. Like, it's not. Nobody actually thinks about the implications of what they believe.
A friend of mine thought that Luke Combs' cover of Fast Car was the original song, and I was so upset he didn't give proper attribution to a brave woman of color.
No, this might be kind of a crazy opinion, but I actually think his cover was better than the original. You know, like Shake, Rattle, and Roll. There's like a million covers of that, or Brown Eyed Handsome Man by Chuck Berry. Buddy Holly did it. A few other people did it, or Blue Suede Shoes. Just that was kind of the thing. Everybody was just passing around songs.
Or the Beatles doing a Buck Owens song.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually a very big Beatles fan. So.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm actually a fan of the early stuff, like, Hard Day's Night, kind of thing. I like all the Beatles work, but definitely the early stuff, like, Help, Hard Day's Night, that kind of stuff. A lot of people think that's just boy band music, and there's nothing wrong with boy band music. It's pop music,
What's your view on Catholicism? Just curious.
Well, I'm actually an Orthodox Jew. Actually, I don't know if you know this. I go to the. No, I'm just playing. I was raised Pentecostal. I don't know what you think about that. Were you raised Catholic, or were you a convert or whatever?
No, I was raised Catholic.
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't been to church in a while, but it's actually because the pastor died. He was like 98 years old.
Holy crap!
Yeah, and I mean nobody knows except God, but if I had to bet money on anybody being in heaven, it would be him, because he was a very devoted man to God and a very beautiful man. Taught me a lot, and his son taught me a lot too. I've been feeling bad for that family. I haven't been to church in a while because of that. I mean, it's just bad things happen to everyone. I mean, we all got to take our suit and tie off and go to bed one day. So I don't know. It's why you gotta. That's why you gotta do the most you can while you're here, I guess. Yeah, it's very hard to find genuine people in this day and age, but also at the same time, maybe it was just always that way. People. I don't really like to be one of those guys that's like, oh, the good old days, because people have always had problems and trials and tribulations they've had to go through, and I don't think any period was ever better. I just think we're humans. We come from sin. We have we're naturally greedy. We stab people in the back. I mean, it's always been it's never been daisies. Easy living. I don't think.
So going back to music to wrap it up, do you have any thoughts on the current state of pop music?
Yeah, I feel that there's a lot of recent artists I don't care much for. I don't care much for Chappelle Roan. I think she's fucking terrible. The way she sings, it sounds like a puppy being raped by a coyote. It's just fucking terrible. I mean, Sabrina Carpenter, I think she has some pretty catchy songs. Billie Eilish, I haven't cared much for her career, but she had this one song recently called Birds of a Feather. I actually think is really good. So yeah, I mean, there's stuff out there. I mean, kind of like, like I said, I like the singles off the new Post Malone country record. I really like the Somebody Pour Me a Drink song. I think that's a pretty good chorus right there. And I'm sure you're a little bit older than me, so I'm sure you grew up with it, like like 80s and 90s country, like Garth Brooks, Joe Diffie, Clint Black, stuff like that. Yeah,
they're all dying.
Yeah, they are. I love Tracy Lawrence. I don't know about you, but that Paint Me a Birmingham, that's up there with Sometimes for me. I love that song. I'd like to shout out my social medias if that's cool.
Go ahead, please.
I have a Instagram. I think it's just called Cameron Phlodge. And I made a new Twitter recently. It's @FuckPhlodge. And on the 25th of this month, I have a 6-track EP coming out we talked about. And I think that's about all. I have to say.
Really would like to thank you for coming on. And to all the viewers out there, yes, Cameron is working on the intro for TradTards, so that's in the works as well. So I guess in addition to the EP, there'll be that bit of content as well. So keep an ear out for that. Yeah, and please everyone check out Wanker when it drops later this month. And as always, for TradTards, we have the Telegram, which is the quickest way to kind of get any updates that we're putting out. We do have an Instagram now, which is getting kind of popular. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube. And yeah, go check out Cameron Phlodge and all of his socials. He's on Spotify as well if you want to get acquainted with his style and his music. And Mr. Phlodge, I mean, it's it's very interesting how this kind of came to be, but I'm all for it, and I do appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to come on the show and talk to me.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thanks, brother.
Now I'm in a car, I'm crashing for real. Since you left me, I've been Dalepilled. Now I'm in a car, I'm crashing